So we can
Hi.
turn back
Okay,
to this. Yeah.
good.
Wonderful.
Okay, now I'm going to make the attempt to do screen share again for this next little story. I had the experience, I used to live in Ithaca, New York years ago, and I was part of an organization called the Learning Web, and we set up apprenticeships for children who had been adjudicated. They had a choice to either be in our program or go to, what did they call it in those days? Reform school. They chose to be in our program mostly. And one of the things that I did was go to what they called an old age home, I guess. And there was a young woman there, a teenager who was thinking about being a nurse. And I would bring her there and then I'd wait while she did her apprenticeship. And while I was there, I would draw the people. And I met this woman named Eleanor, who she never had any guests, any visitors, they told me. She had cataracts and her room smelled like urine, and she was very, very quiet, but she could talk. And she loved having me come and visit her and draw her. And she told me her story, and she had one story. And her story was that her father had a barge on the Erie Canal, and she and her sisters would get let off from school, and they would run on the barge, and they had straw bonnets, and she would wave to the people on the shore. And this was a very happy memory of hers. She was very proud of her father being the captain of the barge. And I asked her if she would like to, I'm going to share the screen now and see if I can find what I want to show you. So this was can you see the picture? Yes. Yes. Okay, good. So this is her drawing. You could see she had terrible arthritis and her fingers were very knobby. And she would tell me the story and I would draw her. And then finally one day I asked her if she would like to draw. And here's a picture of her. You could see she was drawing her and her sister. And then she drew a picture of the barge. And she was very happy when she told me the story. And she would finish telling me the story and then she would start again. And she didn't remember that she had told me the story, and it made her very happy. And I remember at the time thinking, in a way, it was a little sad because she was alone and people weren't coming to visit her. On the other hand, she had a happy story, and that was her story. And it was the one that of all her stories, that's what she had. And it ended up deciding that it was a good thing. And so my prompt for you, while the music that's going to be playing is Gravity by John Mayer. And I found this as a particular song that was very helpful to me in the last year. It begins by complaining a little bit, gravity, brings you to your knees. And then he ends up with the suggestion, keep yourself in the light, he says. So it's the turning of the year. We've had solstice and we've had Christmas and we've had Hanukkah and we have Kwanzaa starting today if people do that. And the light is turning. If you live in the northern part of the world, I want to acknowledge people who don't, that they're going into they're not having the light grown out. But anyway, so keeping ourselves in the light and remembering a very, very, very favorite memory of yourselves. Now, for people who are older, it's harder because you have so many more memories than you youngins. But I invite you that if you were at the end of your time telling someone your story, which was the one story that you would remember? So